Today we are going to look how to use pulse map method according to Nanjing pulse diagnosis and the Bagua method of treatment with acupuncture. First of all, we will look, we use this Bagua map where these trigrams forms the hexagrams and they develop in each particular movement. For example, all the hexagrams are metal. Here in this line, all the fire, wood, water, earth. Each of the line correspond, for example, this to the urinary bladder and gallbladder, this one to the heart and the pericardium, spleen, large intestine, lung, stomach, small intestine, and the sanjiao, and here's the kidney and liver meridian. So here we see two forms of the orders by the Fusi and Wen one, where the one part of the trigrams is the yang and other one is yin. So hexagram forms one part, for example, yang, and other one part yin. So the same here is Wen one order. So for example, we have the pulse map of the patient, and what we can do, for example, we can treat first of all some meridians. For example, we want to treat meridian of the lung, which now is in excess. We have some patient with some issue with the lung meridian. For example, this patient has a problem in the elbow, just some lung issue, whatever it is, skin issue, which we have the lung for some reason is pain, just is in excess here. So what we use, we have the lung meridian, the hexagram, trigram is like that. This is the body, is the affected meridian, and what we have in this map, lung meridian, maybe because as the pulse is the this place was very superficial and this is the second superficial, so according to the pulse it may correspond directly to the gallbladder meridian. So function, if he is the body, function is gallbladder meridian. So in total it will produce this hexagram. It may be, for example, it's the fire and the movement in the right side, fire. What we have here in this moment, in this particular condition, we have the stomach in the fire. So we may have this hexagram with is the lung, and here is the stomach meridian, these. So we have this part. So we can treat lung meridian through the stomach meridian or through the gallbladder meridian. So what we will choose, first of all, we will look at this hexagram. So in the top we see here is the trigram of the metal, and in the bottom is a trigram of the wood. So this hexagram with the metal and the wood actually do not fit very well, because metal always is dominating the wood, so we will not use in this moment through the gall bladder. But what we see here is the stomach meridian. So here we have the stomach, and is the in the bottom we have our is the wood hexagram, and in the top we have the water. So according to these hexagrams, this is very beneficial treatment. So we will use treat the instead of using the lung meridian, we will use the meridian of the stomach. So we will use the stomach meridian, and especially local points corresponding to the elbow. In the other side we have the knee points. So here we have by the poles we see that, for example, fire and wood are very good to use just by the poles, but as we use the hexagrams, we see that by the hexagrams it doesn't work. If we use just poles without looking the hexagrams, so perfectly well, the lung now is the fire movement, which is front of the wood, is the second superficial, and here is the second deep by the movement of the poles, direct line. So we can use lung by the poles, we can use a gallbladder meridian, and here we have the stomach meridian. It is the fire, and the fire here we can use also stomach, but by the using the hexagrams we use only this one. So for example, we have water and the wood as we decided, so we need also to check that the water and the two trigrams actually they not only fit by the movement, they also enter in the Fusi when one. So one it's preferably should be yang, and other one preferably should be yin, so they will be balanced. So this trigram, wood trigram, here we see that it is actually is the yang, and this one is the yin. So by Fusi order it works perfectly well. If we look by the Wen Wan order, so we'll see one is actually yang, and other one is the yin. So they also will work and by Wen Wan and by Fusi order. So for example, we have the patient with the knee problem, and the knee problem, for example, correspond to the internal part of the knee. So we have the something like the spleen liver meridian. So spleen meridian, we have the earth movement, which correspond here what is in the earth. We have the small intestine in the earth. So we will have the hexagram of the spleen, which is the trigram is the fire. We will put it, because we remember that we use the, in the bottom we use the body, and the function is will be small intestine. So small intestine is this trigram. So only one meridian correspond to the spleen is a small intestine. What we will look, maybe it will be also liver meridian. So liver meridian, we have the liver meridian is the here in the hexagrams correspond to the earth line. So maybe it is the also the liver meridian. So here we put the spleen, and the liver meridian may correspond stomach, because is by the same horizontal line, because the liver is the second before deepest, and the stomach is the second of the most superficial pulses. So by the pulses it will correspond, liver can correspond to the stomach. So we have the stomach meridian, this one. Liver, we may have, for example, liver corresponding also to the gallbladder. So we will put the also one the liver trigram and the gallbladder trigram. So what we will see here, which we can use according to our pulse. So this hexagram is the fire. This bottom trigram is the fire, and the top one we have is the earth. So fire and earth, they perfectly fit each other. So if we will look Fusi, one is the yang and another one is the yin, so it's perfectly fit with also with the Fusi. And if we will look when one, so we have one fire is the yin and the earth is the yang, so it also fit with when one. So in this case it work, and according to the 5 movement and according to the order of the when one and the Fusi. So we can use, for example, for the treatment here we can use the, for example, stomach meridian for the the spleen. We can use the small intestine meridian, and we will use small intestine meridian here on this elbow. And for example, if we treat lever meridian, which is the internal part of the knee, to medial part of the knee, so what we have is the one part is the earth, and the top part is the water. So earth and water, they do not fit each other, because the earth always managing the dominating the water, so it will not work here, the same like we were talking about this hexagram. So what about here is the earth, and in the top we have the metal. So earth and metal, they're perfectly good, and they're also good by the Fusi, and they are good by the Wen 1. So we can use also this hexagram for treat pain in the knee, but in this case we will use liver, and it was corresponding the gallbladder, so we will use the pain in the middle part of the knee by treating the needling the gallbladder. How we can needle gallbladder on the other side, treating medium part of the knee, puncturing lateral part, treating the left knee by using the right knee. So first of all, we use correspondence of the pulses, and we look how these pulses fit with the second step, how these pulses fit together with the hexagrams.